Sixth grade lesson 12.4 is histograms. I think you'll find this one makes pretty good sense. A histogram is real similar to a bar chart. In fact, it's represented in a bar chart. Only the difference between a histogram and a bar chart is you won't see the gaps in between the bars. The bars kind of just lean up against each other. And the usefulness of this is if you have a large number of data values for whatever it is you asked questions about, it's helpful to group them into intervals, into specified groupings, and then you can see how the data played out over those intervals. Let's have a look at an example. All right, so this histogram shows the ages of winners of the Academy Award for Best Actor from between the years 1990 and 2009. So they went through and gathered all that information. And then they put them in intervals of age range. Those who won who were between 20 and 29 years old, those who won between the ages of 30 and 39 years old, between 40 and 49, between 50 and 59 years old, and who was between 60 and 69 years old of those Best Actor winners during that period of time. Frequency over here is how many of them were there. One person, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So that's how that's sorted out. And the first step is always to get familiar with the histogram. What is the information they're giving me and how is it broken down? The height of each bar shows how many data values are in the interval the bar represents. How many people, in this case, how many best actors. And each of the bars represent the different age ranges. So if they want to know how many winners were under 40 years old, well, how many of the winners were in this 20 to 29-year-old range? Only one. And then there's another bar that represents under 40 because 40 is going to be, the cutoff is going to be right here, 40 to 49. So we want everything below that. So that other range that's in there is the 30 to 39 years old. And how many of those were there? There were 6. So if we wanted to know how many were in under 40, then those two together, the one that's 20 to 29 and the 6 that were between the ages of 30 and 39, there were a total of 7. 7 of the winners were under 40 years old. There's a question right underneath that asks you, is it possible to be able to determine in that histogram whether there was somebody who was 37 years old? That would be somebody in this range, but we only know the range. We don't know exactly how old every person, all 6 of those people were. So we're not given that specific information. So no, from the histogram, no, we would not be able to tell because we just know that there's a range of 30 to 39 years old. All right, I suspect that looked pretty, that clicked with you pretty well. We'll look at one more example, but I think you're going to find this clicks all into place very easily. This table over here shows the ages of winners of the Academy Award for Best Actress from the years 1986 to 2009. How many of the winners were under 40 years old? So same question, but now we're looking at Best Actress instead of Best Actor. And so they gave all the data, all the ages. And so we would want to put them, so if you're given all the data and you want to put it in a histogram, you kind of have to break up how you want those intervals to be before you can draw your histogram. And we're going to go ahead and put them in age ranges of 10 years, right? And so you would count that how many were between 20 and 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they put that there. And then you would do the same for ages 30 to 39. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and I went through and crossed off all the 20 and 30s now that we're done with the 30s. How many between 40 and 49? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's cross those off just so that we're not looking at them. How many between the ages of 60 and 69? Just that one. Between 70 and 79, 0, and then between 80 and 89, just that one. So now that we have this information broken down in this sort of scenario into the intervals, we can graph it. So we have our age ranges down here. We know there were 7 in the 20 to 29 range, 10 in the 30 to 39 range, 5 in the 40 to 49 range, 0 here, so we won't draw a bar there. There was 1 in the 60 to 69 range, so we'll draw a bar there that goes to about the 1. None in the 70 to 79 range, and 1 in the 80 to 89 range. Okay. And I took you through that without taking us through the steps. Make a frequency table. We did that. Set up the intervals along the x-axis, this axis right here of the graph. The intervals must be all the same size, meaning that they must include the same years, 10 years. They're all 10 years in size and range that they cover. So the scale for the frequencies, the scales for the frequencies here go on the y-axis, how many of the people. Then we graph the number of winners in each interval. We did that. They had done those for us, and we just had to add these ones in. We had those gaps in between because those two had 0. There wasn't any 50 to 59-year-olds or any 70 to 79-year-olds. Give the graph a title and label the axis. They did age, frequency, and then complete the histogram by drawing the bars for the intervals, and we did that. To find the number of winners who were under 40 years old, add the frequencies for the intervals of 20 to 29 years old and 30 to 39 years old. So our 20 to 29-year-olds, there were 7. And our 30 to 39-year-olds, there were 10. And then after that, these are 40 or above. We just wanted to know below 40. So 7 plus 10 is 17. So 17 of the winners were under 40 years old. They ask us, how can you tell from the histogram which age group has the most winners? And if you looked at that, you could probably immediately tell me which age group had the most winners, because that has the highest bar, right? So we can see that the highest bar was with the 30 to 39-year-olds. Word that how you want to. And that's it. That's histograms. Nice, easy one, I think, for you. But of course, if you're confused or struggling, let me know.